Okay, little video then about something that comes up in suspense now and again, which is debenture interest or adjustments to the debenture interest that you'll see in a question. All right, so I'm taking this from the 2025 higher level company question. Um, so in this little scenario in part five of this question, it's mentioning the debenture interest um, that there's been an error in debenture interest, right? So the suspense figure arises as a result of an incorrect figure for debenture interest. So what's kind of happening there is if you go to the trial balance in that question, you kind of have to identify what they're talking about with debenture interest, right? And usually it's the debenture interest for the first couple of months, and in this question here, it's the first 9 months. All right, it's the second figure down below there. It's 10,000 sitting on the debit side. So that's the expense they have for debenture interest. So that's where the first part of the error is coming from. All right. So what you need to do is to see whether this 10,000 is right or wrong. Now, generally speaking, that 10,000 figure is incorrect. All right. So what you want to do is do a little working, right? We'll call this working one. All right. And what I'm going to do for the debenture interest, I'm just going to grab the figure as per the trial balance, right? So as per the trial balance, okay? And they're telling us it's 10,000 euro. All right. So there we go. What you need to do is find the actual, right? The actual for the first 9 months. All right, so that's what our little working is going to be here first. Okay, now just be careful about any top ups to the debenture. All right, and there are mentioned one there of 80,000 issued on the 1st of April 2024. Right, so that 240,000 has that 80,000 included in it. So if we're trying to get the first 9 months here, then right, that 80,000 doesn't exist in it. Okay, they only got that 80,000. Was it April? Right, so it's not there for the whole 9 months. It's there for some of it. All right, okay, it's there for 6 months of it. So what we'll do is we'll break the working down like this. All right, so it'll be 240,000. Right, minus the 80, multiplied by the rate, which is 6%, and we just want the first 9 months of that then. So this is without the top up now, right? So I'm just taking 240,000 minus 80, multiplied by 6% by 9 over 12, and that'll give you a figure of 7,200. Okay. Then what this top up does exist in the first 9 months, or part of it, but it's the 1st of April. So first 9 months is September, right? The end of September. So they've had this since the 1st of April, right? You're talking April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 6 months worth. All right. So the 80,000 then top up, right? Multiplied by 6%, by 6 over 9. All right. That'll give you a figure of 3,200, right? So what you've come up there, you've come up with a figure of 10,400, right? So that's the actual figure for the first 9 months. All right. And the trial balance has 10,000 here. All right. So we've got a difference of €400. All right. So that €400, what that is, that's your interest error. Okay. So there's your interest error there. All right. Now, what you have to do to fix that, all right, is drop your debenture interest account. All right. So it will look like something like this. Okay. If we're doing a double entry on this, there's my debenture interest. All right. So I'm just getting the figure straight off the trial balance. It's sitting on the debit side. So technically speaking, that's an expense. All right. But what I need to do, right, because we know the figure is meant to be 10,400 there, right? What we need to do, we need to put another 400 on the debit side of this account. So now you have 10,400 sitting there. That's correct. But of course, what's your double entry? Well, you're going to debit the debenture interest account 400, right? But what you'll need then is another account. Okay. So I'm just going to draw it maybe down here. And this will be your suspense. So your suspense is where errors that are going from. I think they've used maybe salaries and general expenses in this little question. All right. Salary and general expenses. So if you're debiting this account €400, you'll credit your suspense account €400, and that's how you fix the error there. All right. So that's the first part of that question. All right. The other part then, because you're already fiddling around with debenture interest and all the rest of it, you're better off trying to find out then what's the debenture interest for the year. Okay, so that'd be your kind of working two then. All right. So if we just grab another sheet of paper here, right? If I want to find out what the debenture interest for the year is, so what I need to do, well, first of all, it's 240,000 is what the debenture is altogether, right? 240,000. But I'm going to separate it out from the 240 that's sitting on my trial balance. All right, that's sitting on the trial balance there, minus the 80,000 top up, right? Because what I'm trying to do is this is what they've had for the whole year, right? If I just get 6% of that, right? 240,000 minus the 80,000 by 6%, I get a figure of 9,600. Okay. Then what you can do is treat get the interest in for the top up that they've had. All right. Remember, it's the 1st of April they've had this. All right, this top up. So they haven't had it for the whole year. I think it's better off if you can just separate these out a little bit. All right. So if they got it on the 1st of April, then, right, you're talking April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Right. That's 9 months there. Okay. So it'd be 9 over 12. And that figure, if you put all that together, 3,600. So all I'm doing is just adding these two figures together, and you get a figure of 13,200. Now that's your debenture interest for the year, right? That will actually go to your profit and loss account. Okay, so how you change this then, or how do you present this in your debenture interest account then, right? If you'll be debiting your profit and loss account because it'll be an expense, but what you'll do then, you'll credit this account, right, with the full amount. So profit and loss account, 13,200. So now what you'll end up with is you have three figures sitting here. All right. So what you can do is you can close this account off then, right? I'm just going to close this off. So I'm going to end up with 13,200, right? 13,200. So I'm missing a figure here, but of course, balance carry down would be 2,800. All right. So now what that 2,800 is, that's actually this is actually debenture interest that's due at the end of the year. All right. So really what that is, that's a current liability in your balance sheet. Okay. Of course it'd be sitting down here. All right. I just didn't give myself enough space there. But that's how you treat any debenture interest. First of all, with suspense, and then figure out then the debenture interest for the year. And that's it, really. All right.